Hello, welcome back or welcome for the first time to Guru Grit. This is a place for learning and we're going over Q&A astrology edition. So basically all the questions you asked me on TikTok. I said I will try to answer as many as I can on YouTube so that we can refer to them. They'll all be in one place, and I'll try to put like what we generally answer in the title so that you can kind of sift through them. But we're on a real relationship kick, so we're going to continue with that. And I've tried my hardest to sit in like the quietest spot in this park, and I've also tried very hard to pick a good time to start recording because there's wild animals, a lot of kids playing sports. Like, it's full of life, it's really nice. But I recorded two 30-minute videos yesterday and neither of them are getting uploaded. They've already been deleted promptly because a woman had this like poor dog who wasn't trained and he was just like fighting everyone, and then she picked it up and literally boxed her own pup in the face, and I was just like shocked. It was on camera and I was like, that animal is in distress. Like, I was so upset, I was so annoyed. And then I went home and I did a live, and I was clearly very much not myself because I was just so frustrated that nothing would go right. Enough about that. We don't like long introductions, I say that and I mean it. So for more information, look below. Otherwise, come say hi on TikTok. I'm still doing readings. I'm going away for 6 weeks in less than a week's time. So if you'd like a reading, try to book it ahead because once I'm gone, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, okay, back to the Q&A. We're on a real relationship kick. So we covered North Node in the 7th house in the previous video. And this is a great point of curiosity for people. They didn't realize that the nodes are very difficult. The nodes aren't pleasant, okay? So another thing I want to mention, North Node in the 7th can potentially delay marriage as well. South Node in the 7th, okay, is also a malefic, so it's like a disruptor in a sense. And, sorry, I have to crack my neck. And South Node, the best thing to do if you have South Node in the 7th house is to marry somebody spiritual and take your spiritual practice seriously, because it's a separator, okay? South Node's a separative effect. So it can remove your attention from that. It will just not be the most important thing to you. It doesn't mean you don't love your partner. It doesn't mean that you don't care about having family. But you know, some people, it's like not the most important thing in the world to them. Like, there's just like other things that they really care about. That's cute. And then, so for example, I asked my teacher why I don't have children if I love them so much. There's several technical reasons for this. We'll talk about it down the line, like delayed children or no children or something like that. But sometimes a person can be so fixated on creativity, which is child making. So for me, like, I'm a very creative person astrologically. But if you had a child, you would have so much obligation that you wouldn't enjoy being creative. Like, you don't have time to paint, you don't have time to sing, to play instruments, to cook, to garden, whatever you like to do. So it would actually dampen that creative energy. So sometimes you can see a chart where a person is so jonesing for relationships, but in fact, if you had one, it would hold you back, which I suppose is really rough to hear because you're like, but I want it. It's like, yeah, but you think you want it, you don't want it right now, okay? You'll be much happier at 42 than at 22. Just trust us, you know, you have to like build a business or make a legacy or something, you know? So that can happen. So spirituality, you know, the South Node is a very spiritual thing. It's very otherworldly. So it's best to marry someone who really believes what you believe or wants to like meditate with you or pray with you or whatever the case is, okay? So I just want to give that example. So not to take things, you know, because if you said you have delayed marriage, it's not, like, you would call it that, but it's not actually delayed because you didn't want it that young. You don't think it at the time because you are young. You're like, how can you tell me what I do and don't want? But honestly, like 10 years, you'll be grateful. You'll be grateful because you've seen the world, you've done whatever, okay? Okay, moving on. What about 5th house, which also rules romance? So this is a really good point. So basically, oh my God, so many squirrels today. They're so cute. It's just like so precious. Just love it. Just love it. Anyways, okay. If you have a really like monstrous 7th house or something, and then the 5th house is just like incredible, okay? You can actually see that that person is more geared towards relationships without formal commitment. So you can have a common law partner, you can have multiple partners, something like that. But generally, you know, like when they marry, something just like is off. It's off, and you'll see this in celebrity couples. Maybe they're together for 5-6 years. They get married, and a year later they're filing for divorce. Like their karma changes. So that's the other thing with marriage is sometimes people who are single are unlucky, and then when they get married, their trajectory just like takes off, and they're much more fortunate. Okay. So another person asked, would this apply in the Navamsha? Yes. So the divisional charts, I'm always using them. I just like don't always explain that in readings because I don't want it to take up time from the reading. It's not like what you pay for. You pay for answers, not explanations, unless you say you're advanced, and then I'm happy to show you. But actually, don't even say that. I'm not going to show you. You just have to learn. Okay, because I had to learn. Nothing. That's the thing that makes me laugh. People will comment. They'll be like, you don't really say anything. You don't really say anything. My blood pressure, excuse me. I have to control myself. But nothing in the occult is given. It's figured out. That's how you build your confidence. You have to figure it out, okay? I'm giving you everything you need. You have to put it together. Just like, it will make sense, okay? Anyways. So, good timing turning that engine on. Give me some time to catch my breath. Okay. So in the Navamsha, if you have Saturn in the 7th house, in the D1, that's one thing, okay? If you don't, but you have it in the D9, yes, you can marry later, you can marry someone serious, older, tall, all those things apply, okay? An established person, so yes, it applies. I explained this in great detail in yesterday's video. I told you everything you needed to know, but then that woman had to act a fool with that dog, and I nearly lost my mind. I swear I almost had like a nosebleed, like a rage stroke. I was like, and then yeah, we're just not gonna do it again. It is what it is. Okay, South Node with Jupiter. Okay, so South Node, I explained this in detail. I don't feel like doing it again, but it can give you an unorthodox partner, an unorthodox choice of mate, a view on relationships, you know. A thing to be careful is someone who isn't what they say they are. So maybe you meet someone and they're like, I'm a powerful businessman in Italy. And then you like fly over there and move in with him and he's like a drug lord. And you're like, oh my God, like, no, not cute. No, we don't live in a Wattpad story. Don't start romanticizing nonsense. Touch wood. You know, so just be careful. But thing it's really good for is finances, like your money, okay? So sooner or later something should happen. Sooner or later, so that's actually quite good. There were some really good ones. Let me just fish them out again. Yes, I just answered that one. Perfect. Okay, traditional marriage. So this one made me laugh. Someone's like, you know, I have Saturn in the 7th house, and I was like always like the crazy one in the group or something. Okay, so I'm generalizing a little bit because I don't want people being like, that's not true for me. It's like, okay, I'm talking to people it's true for. So basically, a lot of the times they're like a free spirit, or they're very modern, or go with the flow, or like a bit pie in the sky, whatever. And then their Saturn return kicks in, and like immediately they just like want a traditional marriage, you know? So it works out like I don't know, their partner makes a lot of money, so they stop working, they start gardening, cooking, whatever your idea of traditional marriage is. I don't know, I'm not trying to force anything on anyone. But you'll see that a lot, and I've seen this in same-sex relationships as well. Someone did comment, they said, you know, I'm a man, married to a man, and this is true, like my Saturn's here and whatever, and yeah, that's cute. Baby squirrels are chasing each other. I wish I could show you, it's so cute. They're so playful. I have a playful nature. I just wish people like played more. Like, I don't know what it is about like being in your 30s, people just assume you're supposed to be like miserable. I'm not miserable. Stop trying to tell me that I should be miserable to take life seriously. You're a bore. Probably never had an original thought. That's why you're like that. And like, do you know something's wrong when like one of your elders in their 70s one day just went, don't take it personally, Mon. That person has no imagination. They're like, they're weirded out by the fact that like you have a sense of humor. And I'm like, that's probably true. Anyway, who cares about them? Moving on. Yeah, housewife life. That's very Saturn in the 7th, marrying a divorcee, an older person, a widow, you know. You know, if Saturn ruled your 8th house and went into the 7th, that could give a widow who's older than you, already had kids. So you just kind of like waltz into that marriage, and they're already like marriage, I don't know what the word is, marriage minded. You know, they're just like switched on to what is done in a marriage, and you're like, yeah. And you're like, cool, awesome. Okay, does this count for Capricorn in the 7th? Yes, okay, yes. So why am I so serious? Yes, it does. It does count, okay? So Leo rising, Cancer rising. can marry late because signs of Saturn occupy the 7th house. Signs of Saturn also occupy the 5th house for Virgo and Libra rising. That means like they might be too serious about dating. If you're like a Libra ascendant or Virgo ascendant, you might be like, I don't want a boyfriend, I don't want to date, I don't want a girlfriend, I want a wife. Like I want to build my life. I don't want to spend time in like some stupid relationship that doesn't go anywhere. It's lame, you know, you want to like build and like invest and be productive and have plans and goals and materialize them, okay? Someone came at me on the live yesterday for saying something like manifest, whatever. I said manifest, but I meant it in like to materialize, like to make happen in the world, to be an active, productive member of society. And they said, isn't that of the demon? Is it not of the demon? And I said, what? And they said, you said to manifest. It is against one of the commandments. I wasn't arguing with them, but I was like, what commandment said thou shalt not manifest? Please show me. I will throw myself off a cliff if I was wrong about the commandments. But anyway, too sensitive about language, too sensitive about what other people are doing. Can we stop? The world has gone mad. I don't know how much more I can take. Okay, this person has a cool username. I just love it. Is this Vedic astrology? I'm almost 34 and not married. What would you expect to see in my chart? Whatever you pay me to see. What do you mean? No, I'm kidding. Okay, that's funny. So if you're not married by your mid-30s, there's a lot of things, so I'm only going to give you a general one. Okay, so the obvious one will be Saturn in the 7th. Saturn in the 7th. Very obvious reasons. So can Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter is what I call like the cosmic chungus or chumbus or chonker. He's a cosmic chonk because he's so heavy. If you remember a high school science class, okay, like solar system stuff, he has mass. He's a planet that's quite hefty. He has a lot to do with like stabilizing and gravity, okay? So that being said, he's basically really good for the houses that he blesses around him. He's projecting his really benefic, good energy onto the chart from wherever he sits, right? But the actual house that he sits in, because he's so heavy, he can delay those results. So like Jupiter is a signifier of children, so is the 5th house. So I know he doesn't rule the 5th sign. It doesn't work like that, okay? I'm just like so feisty today. This is what happens when you give me more than one coffee in a 24-hour period. This is what happens. Why do you let me do this? You should be held accountable. So anyway, and I had them both during the AM, which I almost never do. I will space them out like 6 hours if I do it. I've had 2 coffees every day since last week, which like almost never happens. So anyways, I didn't mean that. Yes, I did. I meant it. I just shouldn't have been snarky. Who cares? Who cares? Moving on. Jupiter's heavy. So he signifies the 5th house. He doesn't rule the 5th sign. That's not how it works. This isn't copy-paste, okay? This isn't kindergarten. So mean, sorry. So he signifies the 5th house. So by that definition, he is happy there. Regardless, even still, he slows down the results. So not for everyone. I don't care. It's like, I have 12 kids and I didn't ask. I don't care, okay? So when you put him in the 7th house of the spouse, it can slow it down. It can make you marry in your late 20s, early 30s, mid 30s. Okay, so Saturn and Jupiter would apply the same. I'm not going to go into the reasoning again. It's just going to take too much time. It doesn't matter. Okay. Another thing is people think something really crazy to me personally is they think if you have a planet in a house, you will have results of that house. If you don't have a planet in that house, you will have no results of that house. So let me ask you something. Can I ask you something? Okay. Is your 2nd house empty? Is it empty? There's nothing there. Probably, okay? Probably. Does that mean you don't have parents? No? The 2nd house is parents. Were you created in a laboratory? Did you hatch out of an egg? Did you tear loose and spring out of the womb of a Jekyll? No, you were birthed by a human mother. You were made by human parents, okay? Someone in my comments wrote the funniest thing, like, they were a little bit funny. They like said, like I was being a bit dramatic. It was really funny interactions. She said like, I have nothing in my 7th house. I'm so worried I'll never get married. Blah, blah, blah. And another viewer commented, they're like, well, do you have planets in the 1st house? If you don't, does that mean you don't have a body? Like, it's so funny. And she's like, yeah, I was being a bit dramatic. LOL, right? I was like, funny. But that's the logic. So if you don't have something in the 7th house, it doesn't mean you won't be married. If anyone's ever told you that, they're lying to you. Maybe they're trying to extort a reading out of you. I don't know, but it's not true. Don't listen to that. That's so uncool. If you have an empty second house, doesn't mean you'll never make money. No, you'll still have a job. If you have a 10th house that's empty, doesn't mean you'll never have status in the world. No, you have status from before the time that you were born, okay? You exist in a medical record somewhere. Before you're born, after you die, you're gonna have a will. You exist somewhere, okay? Why do you do this to me? Why? Just joking. I am so hopped up. I shouldn't have done anything different, honestly. It is what it is. Okay, moving on. So this means if you have planets in the 7th, it doesn't mean you're automatically, like, marriage is guaranteed for you. Excuse me. My, like, raging needs a break. If you have too many, it will slow it down, okay? Exclude the outer planets, but include the nodes. So if you have anything from Sun to Saturn, if you have Sun, Moon, Venus, Saturn, plus North Node in the 7th house, you can have a delayed marriage. It doesn't mean that you will. You can. That's the difference. You hear the difference? The difference doesn't mean it's possible. I'm not telling you you're going to have delayed marriage. So, because I know someone who has Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, North Node. They were born in a lunar eclipse, okay? In the 7th house, and they were married in their late 20s. They were married at 28. So, yeah, at 28, almost 29. Like 2 months off from turning 29. No, a month and a week, exactly. 5 weeks away from turning 29. So it's possible, okay? So you have to look at the whole thing. So another thing to remember about stelliums is, I don't know, people like glorify them or like think they're amazing or special, makes you special. I don't know, I don't think that's true. The reason is you have to know the nature of the houses. So basically, I hear a lot about stelliums. I just want to like clear the air. Okay, that's okay for time. I haven't gone full mental. Most houses, okay, 2/3 of a chart cannot handle a stellium. It is said to harm the house that they sit in. So what is the definition of a stellium? Planets from Sun through Saturn, okay? 4 or more. So if you have, like what I just mentioned, somebody that I know has, that's a full-blown stellium, okay? In the 7th house, that hurts the 7th house. So even if you marry on time, you might have extremes in marriage. You might move to another country, have failed business, touch wood, I don't wish that on anyone. You know, lose a lot of money, gain a lot of money, be really affluent, then be really, really destitute, a lot of extremes, a lot of like trouble, a lot of drama. You know, but that's life. Some people have exciting lives. It happens. We read about it in the tabloids or whatever, okay? But it happens to non-famous people too. They live, some of the people that I've met that are of no, like, you know, note to in terms of like celebrity have lived the most incredible, amazing lives I have ever heard of. Like, if it was in a book, you'd be like, you have a great imagination. Only like, I didn't imagine it. I really met that person and they did crazy things. And I bet they have some like wild stuff going on in their chart. Anyway, stelliums by aspect can also delay marriage. So bear in mind as well. And another question I got that I want to address is divorce. So I have a couple of videos on divorce. I'll post those as well, of course. And they'll be linked below. They're linked, I think, to the Saturn video or like the last Q&A I did. And that's quite useful because people think if you have Saturn in the 7th, you're automatically going to get divorced. It's not entirely true. You can have any planet in the 7th and it wouldn't mean that you're getting divorced, but it could add to that. Like when you calculate everything, it could add to it. So to give you the example, you can have Saturn in the 7th and be like freaking out. But consider this, okay, let's say he's in the 7th, which is his strongest house, and he's in the sign of Aquarius, which is like a very good sign for him. It's called his sign of joy. He's actually quite happy there for obvious reasons. He also rules it. And then you have to consider he rules the 6th house through Capricorn. So if you take the energy of the 6th and posit that into the 7th house, you are bringing in 6th house energy into your marriage, which is like arguments, okay, and the 6th rules divorce. The 6th rules like advocating for people who are vulnerable, so maybe that will be you, whatever. And then also accusations. It's the house where people like pick a bone with you, they have a problem with you, right? So you could have like a bickering spouse, you know, you have to like, oh, like tell them, not today, I'm in a good mood or something, you know? But another thing too is, let's say like, it's Venus. Venus rules the 6th through Libra and goes into the 7th into Scorpio, where she's debilitated. Same thing, even though it's Venus and you think it's like amazing, it's still gonna cause like, it could cause jealousy, you know, with other women, or like feminine energy, maybe like mother-in-law, sisters, or like difficult depending on the house rulership, etc. Right? So that can like, but no marriage is perfect. Like that's what I mean. Like you can meet the perfect person, but doesn't mean that your life together will be perfect. Do you see what I mean? It's not like a fault on anyone's character. Like maybe like that person is darling and loyal and everything, but the circumstances are difficult. Okay, does that make sense? Cool. Okay, I'm gonna go make a couple more videos while I'm still talking fast and can make coherent thoughts and sentences, because I feel like that is slipping and it's slipping. It's gonna be lunchtime soon. And then, yeah, thank you for being here. I look forward to answering many more. I've had some really fun questions yesterday on the live as well. The trouble is, I just don't remember when you ask them on the live. So when you leave them in the comments, there go my glasses, it's like easier for me to scroll through and find them. But the thing is, they don't always come up in notifications, so you have to go into like every single video and scroll through, and that takes like ages. So, I mean, I try to reach everyone as best I can and answer things that will like affect the most people as best I can as well. Though niche questions are pretty cool. I have the most fun with those. So thank you so much. Readings are available. I had a few questions, people saying, I don't see them on Etsy anymore. Okay, so Etsy takes like a chunk and they charge like tax and stuff, so you have to pay more and I earn less and I have to pay more, and like I feel like nobody wins on that platform. For the time being, I have so many books up on there, I'm like too lazy to take everything down and move it to Big Cartel. But I'm offering 1 hour reading, half-hour reading, a single question reading, and then I'll also add solar return. I should do that today. I'll try to add the solar return and the full synastry. So it's just my opinion. You can do whatever you want. It's your life. I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to argue with you, okay? We're not on babysitting duty. If we were, I would charge hourly. So, synastry. I'm happy to do synastry readings, okay? I do them for my friends. It's no problem. It's whatever, okay? If you're going to get a synastry reading, which is probably the most expensive thing you can buy from me, because you're overlaying 2 charts, and I'm trained to do it, and I'm not bad at it, okay? So it's a lot of work. I know what I'm doing, okay? I'll leave it at that. But basically, if you just want to go for like a coffee with someone, and you're like 22, and you're not really like serious about marriage, I'm not going to stop you. But if you're like hard up for money, I don't think it's a wise investment, my opinion. Synastry is usually used for couples intending to like marry, you know? If you want like a full-blown synastry, which is like very, very intricate and detailed and a lot of energy, it's really time-consuming for you to listen to, whatever, take notes, whatever, okay? Be like very certain that you can afford it, and be very certain that you need it, okay? I'm not gonna tell you what to do, what not to do. I feel bad. I don't want like someone who's out of school, they're like 22, and they have like their grace period for their loans is up and they can't get a job in their field. Like, please don't stress over that, you know? There's like other things you can look for that are like more within one's means. And I know the heart wants what it wants, so like you're gonna do whatever you want anyways. I just feel really guilty when like young people want to splash cash on like something like that. So I'm just like prefacing that, okay? So the other thing I've done is, if you cannot be dissuaded, is I'm offering on my Etsy, I probably uploaded to Big Cartel today as well, a mini synastry. So it will be less than half the price of the full one, which is really intended for people like having a baby moving in, or like you want to propose to them or something, okay? And that one will be like I can give you like a verdict, like do it, go out with them, yes, no, right? I think I just backhanded a bug. I didn't mean to, it flew into me. No one tell Greta Thunberg, please, oh my God. And it's like more simple, okay? So you will still have the same end result. Like I will still tell you if it's like within average range, above average, below average, don't even bother, just walk the other way, this person's like not right for you. I've seen so many butterflies today. Like I swear, I feel like one's gonna land on top of my head and give me the most like tender kiss, and I will like know the truth of the universe or something. It's like so cool, man. Anyway, moving on. Anyway, that's what I want to explain to you. That's what I want to explain. If you can't afford something, I've had people like message me sincerely, like with the goodness of their heart. Not the last time I talked about the like what we call the blue checkmark people, who are not actually blue checkmark people, okay? People who are sincere and they've been in touch with me for months or like over a year, and they're like, I want this and I respect your time, but like I'm young, I'm in financial distress, I've had to quit my job and go home and take care of my mom, and I'm really worried about my future, you know, like, I'm sorry, you know, that's awful. No one deserves that. You deserve a sliver of hope somewhere in the future, you know? Of course you can just like ask me, and if you say I don't have $150, I have $60, I have $80, I have $40, I have $70. What can you tell me for that? Like, just ask me like a normal human being, you know, like, because when you're not entitled, when you're like really nice and sincere, and I know your situation, like, obviously I'm happy to help. I live to serve, and this is like hard to believe because you don't know me and you don't know like what happens behind the scenes, but like I give as much as I receive. That's like the joy of giving, okay? Like, I like to give. Like, I send out free books all the time. If you've ordered them, you've probably gotten something for free at some point. I'm happy to do that. So don't be like scared. I know I like rant a lot on the lives, but like, I like to play, I like to have fun, okay? I'm not super duper mean. Anyways, yeah, just letting you know how that works and how readings work. Now I'm gonna go talk about a very important topic. Someone asked me, they're like, I'm gonna start ranting, I can't do it. I can't do it, I swear. Anyways, we're gonna get into the next topic, which is like a relationship topic. It's gonna be called loyalty versus liability, to actually understand if someone is loyal to you or if they're a liability to you and you need to get away from them. Until next time, I love you very much. I don't even know what this is about. Sincere apologies in advance, it's a little bit unhinged. But maybe I should I was gonna say maybe I should break up with caffeine, but no, because I'm going to Europe for 6 weeks. So I need to like up my resistance now. I'm gonna be super dehydrated and drinking coffee all the time, smelling like other people's cigarette smoke. Moving on, I'm going on a trip. Yes, I am. I'm having fun. It's my birthday month as well, so I deserve it, you know? And yeah, you deserve to have a beautiful rest of the summer, and I hope I can continue to like film stuff. I'll do my best. I'll definitely endeavor to stay in touch. And I love you all very much. Get a reading while you can, because I don't know what I'll be doing 2 months from now. Much love to you all. Bye.